Okay. So today, on previous tutorial we had quiz, test one, and today we will cover it. I will check the second variant. We decided that we have 4 TAs, 4 tutors in general. It will be Riza, me, so Anas and Vladimir Ivanov. So we will check each variant. I will check the second variant. So actually, I decided not just solve this task, but also to explain you how you need to prepare to exams. Why? Because it seems that I'm more experienced than you. I'm the first year bachelor, or third year PhD student. So I studied much more than you, and I think I can share some experience. Of course, it's not the truth. You have your own approach, but I just want to give you some tools from my side. But before it, I want to show my gratitude because some guy decided to put Easter egg. Who is it? Was it you? No? Yeah. So actually, originally I thought, what the heck? What is this? But actually, after today I wrote it, and I get that yes, if you want, if you are not afraid of some manga style, you can read it. It seems that it have a quite good, approach to give you this knowledge. Of course, it's more about the second semester, not this one, but some topics can be applicable for you. So I appreciate it. About preparation. Actually, as for me, we have 3 steps. First of all, it's preparation before test. After this, preparation in the day of the test. So in the morning, and behavioral in the exam. It's applicable not only for analytical geometry, but for every courses. Even more, it seems not only for courses, but in everyday life too. So first of all, we need to be like scientists. So first of all, you need to propose some problem. As for me, the problem that during exam you spend much time on finding the solution, and sometimes you cannot receive the max score as you can. So my solution is to find out how to make your progress correctly. So find a strategy for preparation. About time consuming, I will explain it later. Actually, it's for different courses. It will be of course different. About for linear algebra, it seems 8 hours in overall. Also, now I give you a theory, but during the solving the tasks from the midterm, from the test, I will also show you some solutions as a case study. First of all, we need to get how to estimate our knowledge. Who knows Bloom's taxonomy? Nobody? So actually, we can scale our understanding. So understanding is quite weak. Непонятный такой, типа смазливый. Weak meaning. Actually, one guy decided, okay, let's separate it on several steps. First is it, remember, what does it mean? I just know the definition from the book. I cannot even say it in different manner, but I know the definition step by step. After I understand, I can rephrase it and say it in my own words. Apply, I know determinant. I just know the one formula how to solve it. For instance, 2 by 2 matrix, and I can do it. Or 3 by 3. After this, I can analyze. Analyze, in this case, there are some words: differentiate, organize, relate, compare. So, for instance, we have two possible ways to find determinant. For instance, we know using minors, but we know that we can choose other columns and rows. And when we can do it, I mean, in this case, I can say that I not just apply but analyze, because I know, for instance, we have this matrix. For instance, if I'm dummy and I just know one approach, I will choose a common, this row as a minor, I mean, as you get it, is multiply on this matrix and so on. But if I know how to use it, I will choose this one, because in this case I just need to calculate only one matrix, 1 multiplied by this one, because otherwise others components will be equal to 0. It means that I understand it deeper. And the last one, evaluate, I can judge, I can say that it's better than because of this. Not just analyze, but can, let's say, explain, argue that it's better or this is worse. For bachelors, it used to be that analyze is the Yeoman step. So for master students, it seems that it should be higher about evaluate. Create, you can create a new method. For instance, you can design a new method for finding determinants. For you, you need to know how to apply and analyze. It will be the best. A grade, let's call it, it will be analyzed. So if I were you, I would prepare in this manner. So we have slides, my slides, video from classes, lectures. We need to go through it. And for instance, we have a test. We need to write down all our topics which might be appeared on the exam. So we do it. Others, I take a book. Actually, there are 2 books, but I'd like to say that we used another book for making your home task. It's I will find out what is it. I forgot. I have this book, but it's in Russian, of course. We just translate translate the tasks. And sorry, no solutions in the net. You cannot find solutions for this book. We try to do it, even professors, I feel. Yes, so you have to solve it by yourself. But look at task. Imagine how to solve. So as you may see that you need to take some task and solution for it. For instance, we have some tasks. Try to Google using Matprofi or whatever. You have solution. Try to solve it by yourself. After this, use its solution. And but it's for the first time. After this, you need to have more practice. Let's call it like this. In this case, you can find from the book some task and just imagine how you will solve it. It will help. Really helps you on the exam. I will show it later. And after this, check your solutions and decide. Okay, I am sure that it will be okay. But with this task I will solve using my algorithm. I solve it. Check the answer. Okay, it's correct. Fine. About this one, play with concept. I will explain precise on one task. But what does it mean? As I explained, you solve this task. After this, you need to make some hypothesis. Like, okay, let's add this component, or maybe let's use a variable in this. I will explain it because now it's just mumbling. And check the solution. Some task, let's say prerequisite is practical skills. What does it mean? For instance, inverse matrix. Actually, the algorithm is quite simple if we are using, for instance, Gauss elimination. But you need to have practical skills to solve it fast and efficiently during the exam. So this guy, you need to solve some task like inverse matrix at home. So you need to spend time on it. Otherwise, you know the algorithm, yeah, cool. But during the exam, you will fail because you just don't have enough practice. We discussed it before exam. Now we are going to the day in exam and during an exam. As you might know, I'm the candidate of master sport in karate. I have 38 medals, and I am the winner of the European competitions, and I had a chance to be in a worldwide competition, but I decided to study in Lyceum, so I had a difference. So I'm a professional sportsman, and of course I use some techniques from it in my real life. But you can use it, as I told you, not just in sport. If you want, you can read this book. It's really helpful to me. It's science, Russian book, and it's nice. But about this one. Actually, one of the commonest problem that not you know the. Let's assume that you know material. You're not just the great guy who decided, okay, let's go to exam, maybe I will have a luck and solve it. You visited my labs, you prepared, at least you know something. But the problem that you are really frightened, you're confused, and during the exam you cannot solve it math efficiently. Your body doesn't work efficient as it should be. So for this, you need to prepare your brain. Actually, there are three types of, you need to prepare three types of your mentality. Mentality, brain, and one else, but I decided to drop it for you. If you want to know more, read the book. So brain, in karate, it means that you know to train, you know some punches, kicks, and so on. In our case, it's you need to skim material. For instance, you get in the morning, open your notebooks, open your slides, and just skim it. Skim means просмотреть просто, глазами пробежать. Because you already know this material. Other is mentality. One of the possible techniques is self-hypnosis. Sounds okay with the mysterious stuff. Actually, for instance, I have my music playlist and I just listen it before the exam or for something else. For instance, I am a patriot and I like some Glory for Perun, I don't know, some music like this, and it helps you because it writes your mentality. Or like groove metal, I like it really much, and after this I will start to work more efficient. Now you're on exam, so you prepared your mental part, you're not afraid of exam, you just relaxed, go to exam. Our task is actually it's optimization task. We try to minimize our time but maximize our score. You need to know that if you're A grade student, try to solve everything in one step. It's one story. For me, I decided, okay, in some cases you cannot solve some task, even in your home task. For instance, you have home task and you know that you can receive A grade without it, but you have more prioritized task. Just drop this home task. Maybe as a TA I shouldn't say like this, but you need to try to balance your time. Using this technique, I had only 1-2 Bs when I studied as a master degree here. But I also have my club, I visited some extra events and so on, I just not studied. And it's okay for me. So, we have tasks. And I can solve it on the fly. Fine, so the easiest task. I will show it during on our test. Easy concept type implementation. For instance, inverse matrix. Easy concept. But tough implementation because you should spend some time on it. Tough concept. So you don't know how to solve this task. For instance, proofs. As for me, proofs is not so easy. So it can be there. You're ranking and solve from the lowest to the highest. And after solve and profit. Now I will just go through each task. We are not solving it now, we will do it later, but we will discuss. For instance, is this task, what is it? Easy, not easy? Of course, for each person it will be different. As for me, I am now explaining my idea. We can discuss about it. If I have no time, I just need to put false true. I don't think. 1 second. I mean, okay, 5-10 seconds. But actually, for me, it's quite complicated to solve tests. I had this problem even in my childhood. Why? For instance, big task. For any matrix A, there exists only one inverse matrix. Okay, and I'm starting to think. Okay, for square matrix, it's true. If not square matrix, it's not true. But I also know that we didn't study it here, but we have pseudo-inverse explained in the previous class. And pseudo-inverse also unique, and we can find pseudo-inverse matrix for every matrix, even for non-square matrix. And what I need to say, yes or no, and start to think. Actually, for tests, you don't need to think. Is it my problem? But I cannot avoid it. So for me, I need to spend time on it. So I won't solve it first. Determinant. Piece of cake. It's not defined. We will explain it later why. I will explain what if you write 0, I will explain in this case. So this one proof. Let's drop it later. So 1 second the first task. I can do it on the fly. The second one is not so easy. I need to spend time. This one. Dot product I see is just because of task, because we solved that class. easy concept on the fly. But actually it's second because you can make some mistakes in computations. So it's easy concept, but not easy computational. This one. We need to prove, we'll discuss. Actually, it's a very nice task to explain how to play with concepts of the task. After this, again, proof, drop it. This task, I like this task. Actually, it's my this only task when which I put in this test. Actually, I didn't see test before the exam, so I solved it in fit. I drank tea. I found some slides to explain you some concepts, and I solved it in 52 minutes. So I'd like to explain you the common practice in Innopolis, how to prepare tests and so on. We decided several, volunteers. Most of the cases it will be for a lecturer or TA, and he should solve it. After this, we multiply his time on 2, even 3 in some cases. In this case, we said it's okay. 2, multiply by 2, 1.5, it's okay. So is the reason. Because we need to check that maybe some TA think that it's an easy task, other TA disagree with it. For instance, the previous task was much tougher. Vladimir solved it in 1 hour, as I know. I solved it in half an hour, so it wasn't so easy, and we decided, okay, let's drop it, put this task. Because it's more straightforward. If you know concept, solve it in 1 minute. If you know, it will be complicated task. This one. In this task, either it's quite easy task if you know these words, parallelepiped, phase. If you don't know, it will be very tough task for you. So I draw what is it, we will explain later. And the last one, I forgot to drop the slide, and the last one we solved during the class. Okay, Ren, I can start to slow. So far so good. Any questions right now? Maybe some extra ideas, I don't know. Okay, let's go to the first one. As I told you, who is the second parent there? Okay. So, according to, it seems that usually we have all falses there. But if, about this task, what can I say? It's even applicable for real life applications. Now it's 2 examples mostly. But in real life or in physics, for instance, you have to, let's say, you need to provide some assumptions. For instance, if I were you, if I check your task, I will say, okay, if you're right, it's true, but you explain. I assume that we have pseudo inverse, it's unique, and so on. I assume that inverse and pseudo inverse is the same. In this case, I will write, okay, I agree that it's true, because you provide some. Of course, not every table read like this. Maybe some tables say, okay, I don't give a mess about this. Just you need to find answer false in EAGLA, for instance, no explanations. But it's up to you. If I were you, I would write. If I have some ambiguities, I disagree with this precise task, or even you may ask the TA who is near to you. When this false, all determined obviously this false, vectors always form a basis because we know that when put a 0 vector, it's always dependent. False, result of multiplications always depend. We know that 3 on vector 3 by 1 multiply by 3 by 1 won't work. False. There's matrix always exists. Again, true or false probably. If I will check this task, I will put. It depends on explanation. For me, it's a tricky question. Well, to change basis to another basis, false, and this one, it's about properties. If you open my slides, I put properties in each time, and you know, it's not mistaken, it looks like skew-symmetric matrix. It's not the common determinant. Because the common determinant should be transpose equal to, without sign, minus sign. Should just go briefly and solve this task. About this one. I know that some people wrote 0. In this case, it's not defined according to definition. But if you write explicitly that it's non-square matrix, is the reason why I put the determinant equal to 0. In this case, if I check your task, I will put, we have 2, I will put 1.5 in this case. Because as for me, in physics, it's a real common practice that you don't need to solve the task fully most of the time. You just need to put numbers. Oh, not numbers, I mean letters. The same situation there is for me. If you can explain, yes, you answer wrongly, but your idea was correct. About this one. Actually, who solved this task? How, if I were you, how I thought? Actually,